All right, guys. The Show of Requirement reboot
is not a reboot. You know, it also wasn't a reboot. The Flash movie. But I'm going to talk about that on another day.
Yeah, we went and watched it last night. So.
I'm sorry. My brain is fried. I don't know what that was. It was like a fever trip of bad CGI.
It was real bad CGI.
Like interspersed. Like some of it was good, and they're like, no, the bad's on purpose. And I'm like, that's what everyone says. Anyway, I digress. Welcome to the Show of Requirement, a Harry Potter podcast. We're on YouTube, but we're also on audio format in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you are. Welcome. If you're a listener, welcome. If you're a viewer, welcome. My name's Spencer. I'm joined by Abby and David for the first episode of season 5.
Yay!
We're all just collectively saying hello from the past. Because just for you listeners, we were recording some over the break, the Goblet of Fire reread, because some of us are having babies very soon, and some of us are having babies pretty darn soon.
Like, spontaneous labor in the middle of the podcast could happen.
As you can tell.
Yeah, Abby might be stepping out.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe waddling out.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say,
it's David. He's pregnant, guys.
Wow. Dang it. You stole my joke. I was about to say, clearly Spencer is approaching 9 months of pregnancy, but you stole my joke. My joke.
No.
There it is.
I haven't gotten any Harry Potter stuff for the baby yet. I'll figure out something once we're moved into our new house and everything. I'm not gonna do that right now. It's not a Harry Potter themed nursery, so I'm just gonna have to put a little something.
Right.
Anyway, we're back doing more Harry Potter reviews. I know some of you wanted this sooner, and some of you were okay with us doing other things for a while. So I know these are like either really big hits for some people, or some people are like, I want a mix of stuff. So we're just appealing to the masses. But we are starting with the podcast series of Fire. Of Fire! With the Goblet of Fire. What do you guys think of this artwork?
It's ugly.
Yeah, that's the one that I have too.
I hate it.
It's the worst one.
It's the worst one of all of them.
It's not good. One. No.
If it tells you anything, I'm using my mom's copy, and she took it off.
Yeah.
Jennifer's so smart. Yeah, it's the worst one for sure. 100%.
Yeah, I agree. The back is kind of fun. But I agree. It's like Harry Potter's more joyful in this photo. He didn't like being in the Triwizard Tournament. It should have been more of a Home Alone face on the cover. Yeah. And then Cedric is more handsome than that. Crumb, I don't know what Crumb's supposed to look like, but yeah. Anyway, and whose teeth are these?
I think it's the Horntail. I could be wrong.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, it's not the best, and there's also I don't know how many variants of it there are. Like the first few, there's so many variants, but this one, it's really this and the illustrated edition. So not good. Not that this is really great for the listening people, but anyway, you probably know what I'm talking about if you're listening to a Harry Potter podcast. So we are doing, as we did last year, we're doing it in installments of chapters 1 through 6. So we're doing 6 chapters an episode. I know what you're thinking. Goblet of Fire is the thick boy. It's a lot of chapters. So this is going to be a few episodes. But it does give us the opportunity to not talk for an hour on one chapter. But we also get to talk about, we kind of can get a little more into the meat for each book. We can kind of spend a little more time. So it's a fun medium, and we liked doing it last year. So we're just picking it up again. Now we don't know how we're going to answer this question, but I threw it on the outline.
I know how I'm going to answer the question.
Pre-reading this book again, how did it rank? Either before, I don't remember what we ranked them last year. I think I said Prisoner of Azkaban was the best, and then Chamber of Secrets and Sorcerer's Stone for this reread.
Oh wait, we're talking about like before we read this again recently.
Yeah, I would say.
Had we ranked
I would say so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had my ranking like ready for like now.
Oh, okay. Well, you can do that as well.
Well, I'm trying to think. But it probably still would have been.
Abby,
the same.
you should give us yours now.
Well, I think
we never know when Abby's gonna.
I think it stayed the same. I don't know that it's changed. Because when I think about the books pre me rereading this one, I think I would have ranked them and still do. So far, we're not doing all of them, right? Just the ones we've read.
Either way, I was just curious how you guys felt about Goblet of Fire, like maybe your first time reading it, or just like as a longtime Harry Potter fan, how have you felt about Goblet of Fire, but also kind of where it currently sits, I guess, too.
Okay. I'll lead in. I have always, I think I've enjoyed the Goblet of Fire. There's a lot of stuff there, which makes it a hefty book. So it's never been like my number one, like one that I want to just go back and reread. But I think like there were a lot of scenes that I really enjoyed from this book, and a lot of like just fun with the Triwizard Tournament that you just don't get in some of the other books. So I think when I think about the 4 books that we've read and reviewed, well, including this one right now.
Yeah.
Pre-reading it again, but then also after reading it again, I think my ranking would still stay the same of Prisoner of Azkaban up top, Sorcerer's Stone, Goblet of Fire, and then Chamber of Secrets. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know right now where it's got. I'm gonna wait till we finish this series and talking about it and kind of see where I sit. I think this is somewhere in the middle. My favorite book is probably still Half-Blood Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Prisoner of Azkaban's usually up there, tied with Deathly Hallows probably. And then I think Order of the Phoenix has really dipped in recent years. So Goblet of Fire is probably somewhere. I think it's above the rest of them, but it's like number 4, I guess, ironically enough. But yeah, Chamber of Secrets was a winner this time. So I don't know where this is going to sit. It might be Chamber of Secrets. It might not.
Yeah, I think those are the 2 that would switch, possibly. But yeah, I'm going to wait. I'm ranking them as I go this time to kind of see how I feel about them. But
David?
We'll see.
Yeah, I would say that my list, I guess, of the current reread it looks pretty much the same as Abby's. I think it's Prisoner of Azkaban, and then it's Sorcerer's Stone, Goblet of Fire, and then the Chamber of Secrets. I think in the past, I've always had Deathly Hallows and Half-Blood Prince for like would go back and forth between 1 or 2, and then sometimes even Prisoner of Azkaban would jump in and hop in. So those are my top 3. The order of that changes from time to time. And I think
Deathly Hallows is always up there.
You go.
Yeah, it's always
you go,
up
David.
There.
Apparently that's not. I've talked to people though.
Yeah,
Half-Blood Prince is not as widely beloved as I thought.
And that boggles my mind. To me, that's when. Oh man,
we are like a Half-Blood Prince stan podcast, and that's
apparently
that's not the norm. And people don't like the movie either. And I'm like, I've seen that movie more than any movie ever made. I think.
Blame how terribly they handled Ginny and Harry's romance in that film. Like that's probably got is a big reason for that.
But coming after this movie and Order of the Phoenix, very much of an improvement.
Okay, but that's another thing though. A lot of people actually like the Order of the Phoenix movie.
I will not stand for that. I will not accept that. Like Half-Blood Prince slander, I get it.
Real. Yeah.
People say, "Oh, Order of the Phoenix is really hype," And then like Half-Blood Prince is that weird in between book before the last one. I'm like, I don't agree with you, but that's okay. The Order of the Phoenix movie is really bad.
It's horrible.
Oh, see, I don't hate the movie, but I also haven't read the book in a while.
The Goblet of Fire is a weird movie, but it's fun.
The haircuts are terrible.
The haircuts are horrible. Like, it's a wild ride. It's like the fever dream.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what it's weird. But the book is, I was vastly impressed by it the second time I read it, and I'm more in love with it this time, I think. So I might have to be a Goblet of Fire champion this time around because there's so much underlying themes. It was the hardest one for Dumas not be named to write. But it's really she landed the plane pretty well.
Yeah, I would, yeah, so like I said, I would probably put in my overall list, apart from the reread, usually Goblet of Fire is like 4 or 5. It's usually where it is.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I like the Goblet of Fire. What I do appreciate about it, and we're about to get into this in a second, is just it definitely turns. It definitely turns and it switches the tone of the entire series. Like the beginning of each of the previous 3 books is so lighthearted, uplifting, even if you're annoyed by the Dursleys. This book sets a different tone and lets us know from the very beginning that everything that we know about the Wizarding world is going to change in this book. And I appreciate it so much for doing that, because it kind of takes us on a different trajectory for the rest of the series.
Right.
It is a roller coaster, and it also is like so much world building that it subtly does in this one. Some of it, the other ones are more direct. I feel like this one just really does a lot. It creeps. This one does a lot for the Wizarding world, and I think when you think about Hogwarts Legacy and what you do in that, when you think about the Fantastic Beasts series, Half-Blood Prince, even a lot of it comes back to Goblet of Fire. And so anyway, let's get into it. Let's just dive deep, guys.
Yep.
Side note, have you guys seen the clip where Jack Black impersonates Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Yeah.
It is so good. Life is a delicious drink that you need to suck deep. So anyway, and of course, because this is a Spencer hosted episode, I have chapter titles for the chapter titles. I have my own chapter titles. That's the phrase I was looking for. So let's open up to chapter 1, The Riddle House, aka here's what the bad guys are doing. I don't have much to note about this. I don't
either.
I like to get into the Harry Potter stuff. I want to see what Harry's doing. But I like how the Muggle perspective is thrown in sometimes in the series. And the Half-Blood Prince does it again.
It does it very well in Half-Blood Prince.
I do like that you get a little bit of background to the Riddle family.
Yes, and we kind of forget that it's fleshed out later. But it's actually, the seed is very much planted right here.
And so I do like that. The rest of it, though, you're right, is just like set up for later.
Yeah. I just noticed this right before we started recording. It's really sad how the townspeople are like, Frank, never. He would never have killed them. But then they were like 5 minutes later, like, I always knew he was a cold-blooded murderer.
Right.
It's very human. Which I think is something that people take for granted, or at least they don't realize that's why they like Harry Potter, but they can relate to the characters so well because they're human. Even the annoying humans, like most people are that annoying sometimes and that oblivious, and that they'll turn on you and stuff. And so that makes good sense. I've heard theories, I don't know if it's concrete, that Nagini is actually the last Horcrux to be created. And I believe she's not a Horcrux at this point.
Interesting.
But I didn't make the time to cross-reference that. So we do not have to do that.
I've forgotten And you'll have to forgive my brain at this point in time in my life, but did we
I sure
ever
will.
get like an origins of how Voldemort met Nagini or got Nagini?
Nope.
Because that's something I've always been interested in.
And yeah, so I forget which one it is. It's either Order of the Phoenix. I'm pretty sure it's Half-Blood Prince. Dumbledore kind of goes deep in explaining who Nagini is, or not as a person, but he explains a lot about Voldemort and his relationship with this snake.
Mm-hmm.
And he does not mention one time that she was a person. So it made Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald, a big retcon.
Right.
And then they just immediately retconned it again with Secrets of Dumbledore by not including her in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where I sit on that very much. I feel bad that actress, who's really great, played Nagini. And we've come back to Ezra Miller again. I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm. Anyways.
But yeah, poor Frank. It's nice that we get to see him later in the book, though.
Yeah. I do think that, again, it's interesting. In the previous 3 books, we've always started with Harry back at Privet Drive. And this immediately just, it gives us something different.
It's that shift again.
It is that shift. It's interesting seeing how Peter Pettigrew, also known as Wormtail by Voldy, how he's back in that submissive role. He's not in Azkaban, but he's still very much serving a kind of punishment by being with Voldemort. And even seeing how their relationship is at this point in time, man, it just really, it makes you feel, I don't know, it might just be me. I might be just an emotional state right now, but it makes me feel a little bit for Wormtail as he tries to beg for Harry's life, and it doesn't matter.
And it works really well coming through from Prisoner of Azkaban to this.
Mm-hmm.
We get exactly what Prisoner of Azkaban predicted right away.
Right.
Last thing, top tier chapter ending. 200 miles away, the boy called Harry Potter would start. We're like, it's our boy.
Yeah.
Which takes us to chapter 2, The Scar, aka Harry has cake and eats it too. Alternate title, Harry spends way too long to decide to write to his godfather.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a lot of things Harry should have done that could have prevented a lot of stuff. But
Spencer, please rant.
Okay. Harry should have wrote Dumbledore. It would have been so much easier. And I don't think the movie I don't know if he actually talked to Dumbledore about this dream in the book at all. It's in the movie. We'll find out. But he should have wrote Dumbledore. So like this, it could have been like, hey, Dumbledore, I had a dream about blah, 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 blah. Dumbledore goes, kills both of them. End of book. That's really it. It's fine. And I think it's the point. I think this whole book is about certain characters making mistakes that are very critical. Like Ludo losing Bertha Jorkins and Barty Crouch Sr. hiding Barty Crouch Jr. We're all spoilers, guys, by the way. You should have read this book already. So those specific things, and then Winky, and then firing Winky, like mistake after mistake after mistake, make sure that Voldemort returns. It's not his dastardly plan, even though it is a good plan. It does work because of people failing. And so kind of the first one of these is Harry, but also it's not, I mean, I don't know how much it would have changed things.
Right.
Yeah,
because he still wrote Sirius, and Sirius came and he told Dumbledore, I guess.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I don't know that it would have changed everything. But...
It wouldn't have changed everything, I don't think. And we also have to remember, like, this is an 18-year-old Harry Potter. This is 14-year-old Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Who obviously is
Semi-goated.
too concerned with how he's perceived by Dumbledore still at this point. And unwilling to
talk about next book.
Yeah, to look weak or whatever. And so, I mean, I think what I do love is just the back and forth he has with himself about even talking about this. Like, he goes through hearing Ron's voice, like if he told Ron or if he retold Hermione. Like,
I love it so much.
Like, I couldn't help but laugh, especially if you listen to Jim Dale do it. Man, his
Hermione voice is
actually so perfect.
His Hermione and no, I'm not talking to you, Siri. His Hermione and Ron's voices are perfect. Harry, that's really serious. Write to Professor Dumbledore. I'll look it up in a book. And then Ron is like, oh, but Ron just immediately goes to the worst possible scenario. Like, oh, but Voldemort can't be right next to you, can he? How can he? You'd know, wouldn't you? If he's trying to kill you anyway, wouldn't he? I'll ask Dad.
Yeah.
Like, his first solution is ask Dad, which that's kind of me in life. So I can't blame Ron for that. I love Ron. He's so funny. And then we get like 3 paragraphs explaining the previous book, which I just love.
Spencer's favorite part of every book.
Yeah, he loves it. This is his
I pick
aliases
up this
on Wicca.
I pick up this book to read the paragraphs that explain the previous books. But so people like Abby's husband, Cody, can just pick up any book. So frustrating. This whole page 23 is just the last book.
Yeah.
Flipping dramatically. But anyway, Harry does the right thing. And does a good thing and writes to Sirius. I don't think I really have any other things to note from chapter 2. It's pretty short.
Yeah, not a lot. Jim Dale's amazing. Does a great job.
He's like Harry's with the Dursleys, but he has it a little better, which chapter 3 gets into a little bit. But love Jim Dale.
Honestly, these next 2 chapters are like my favorite.
They're really good. Yeah, they're really. I mean, they're all good, but these next 2 are great. Yeah, chapter 3, the invitation, aka Dudley has become too fat for fiction.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I love this. This is a great end of a sentence. Dudley had reached roughly the size and weight of a young killer whale.
Honestly, my favorite part about this, I know that like Spencer, it's probably in your notes. I think it was when I looked at it earlier today. But like, we get to meet like our favorite owl.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So again, one of my favorite parts also is when Harry kind of in his head stands up for Mrs. Dursley, for Molly, or Mrs. Weasley, sorry, for Molly. Whenever Uncle Vernon's talking about it, he says, "Don't be so, woman," he growled finally. "Lots of children with red hair." And Harry's just like, "Man, that's a little rich for you to call someone dumpy when your son's is wider than he is tall." And I'm like, that's nice. And just even the back and forth of even when he mentioned something magical, like how he just flips his lid. It's crazy. I hate it, but I love it at the same time.
We don't quite get the Errol scene we have had in the past, Abby. They mention it, but we don't get Errol just smashing into a window or something.
It makes me. I love that scene.
Also, David, perfect Richard Griffiths Uncle Vernon.
I try.
Rest in magic,
peace, man. Yeah.
I do miss him. That was he's one of those performances that I want to be optimistic about this series, but he can't be outdone. With the mustache and the purple face, everything top to bottom.
We're gonna be saying that about everybody.
I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's gonna be this book where we finally start to leave into the stuff they leave out. It's this book and Order of the Phoenix, which some of this book maybe they should all leave out again, but we'll see. I don't remember how much spew there actually is. What else did I say? Oh, this is really good. It's Harry and Uncle Vernon are having a row, and Harry plays the serious card.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna have to read it. He stopped there to enjoy the effect of these words. He could almost see the cogs working under Uncle Vernon's thick, dark, neatly parted hair. If he tried to stop Harry writing to Sirius, Sirius would think Harry was being mistreated. If he told Harry he couldn't go to the Quidditch World Cup, Harry would write and tell Sirius, who would know Harry was being mistreated. There was only one thing for Uncle Vernon to do. Harry could see the conclusion forming in his uncle's mind as though the great mustached face were transparent. Harry tried not to smile to keep his own face as blank as possible. Very just perfect. And then we get Pigwidgeon.
I love Pigwidgeon.
Quick sidebar. Is Errol our favorite owl?
No. No.
Errol's not my favorite.
What's our favorite owls? I feel like
man.
Hedwig's a cop out, but also
you can't beat the OG.
Hedwig is the most reliable.
And she has the most attitude.
Loyal.
She's the most Christ-like figure other than Harry, but in the book, to lay one's life down.
I feel like it's not a cop out to say Hedwig.
No.
I feel like
no.
Hedwig also has the most personality.
Hedwig is a character.
Yeah. She gets annoyed with Harry. She gets upset with Harry.
What's your second then, David?
Pigwidgeon.
It just can't be Hermes.
I'm gonna go.
These all have great names, by the way.
Yeah. And I could be wrong because it does. I don't even think it gets his name. But honestly, Pigwidgeon annoys me. He gets on my nerves.
I think he's funny.
He's just too uppity.
Ron give Pigwidgeon to Ginny in Deathly Hallows? That sounds right in my head.
I don't know. I'll research that real quick.
Okay.
I'll see.
Yeah, I think my second favorite might be Pigwidgeon as well, because he's crazy. But I also have a very, very soft spot in my heart for Errol.
He's just
because he makes me.
He's clumsy, just ditzy.
He's so funny, and he's got a name that just screams old, feeble owl.
Yeah,
Errol.
Sorry to
Errol
anybody.
Outlives. Doesn't Errol outlive Hedwig?
Probably.
If I could add a chapter to Harry Potter, not a chapter necessarily, but if I could add a scene, I think I would have Errol's funeral in the 5th or 6th book. And just everybody having memories about Errol. That'd be really funny.
So Ron owned Pigwidgeon the entire time, but he was named by Ginny.
Yes. But Pigwidgeon's not floating around the tent in Deathly Hallows. He's not going with them.
He's back at the burrow.
Or they're actually not at the burrow in the book. Deathly Hallows. They
or whatever they are.
Or maybe it was Half-Blood Prince. I can't remember. But they go to the crazy grandma's house for a while. What's her face?
Crazy grandma.
Anyway. It's the great grandma with the tiara.
Great unknown.
Oh,
you don't remember
I forgot her name. Yeah.
She's the one that reads too much of Rita Skeeter
Yeah, I don't remember her name right now.
Honestly,
She
he
does
looks
not
really
matter.
cute on these pictures, but Pigwidgeon.
Pig is
so
cute.
Maybe
And he's
I
got
don't
little
know.
goggles in the Lego Harry Potter game.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. But yeah. Straight to the point this chapter was.
Yes, that's really all it is. But it does end well. He doesn't feel to be worried about anything, even Lord Voldemort.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 4. Back to the Burrow, aka the yearly wizards mess up the Dursleys' living room, and usually also Dudley.
Yep.
I will admit, when I reread this, I forgot this chapter existed, and I was so happy to read it because it's so
It's
good.
mad. It's wild.
Yeah, it's a crazy chapter.
Because it's hard to remember how he's picked up. It's easy to remember Sorcerer's Stone. I don't even remember if I don't even know if I remember. Oh yeah, Chamber of Secrets. They break him out with the car, and then Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm not sure. I think he just walks out. He just leaves.
Yeah,
like the 13-year-old he is.
So, well, he walked out, but that was after he blew up his aunt.
Yes. And then Dumbledore. My favorite is the last one. My second to last one when Dumbledore picks him up. But I really like this one as well.
And for all of you who haven't read the book,
it depends on who wants to take what, because there's so many things in this chapter that are insane to think about. You know, the fact that Fred and George just, you know, their business is taking off and in such a way that they really have to test this out on Dudley. And they pretend to like that it's all innocent, like, oh man, I just dropped it and he just picked it up out of nowhere, not knowing that, I mean, obviously if he's the size of a killer whale, he's gonna pick it up at the first glance. But I just think that they're at such a level, and then seeing how that's affecting their relationship with Molly. Like at the end of that chapter, you're still kind of rooting for them, even if you're a little bit annoyed by like the consistency of like
they're learning lessons and the dangers of they can't be too over the top, I guess.
Right. But at the same time, they're still way better than Percy, who's the measuring stick of that
which
family,
he's in the next chapter
understand.
Mostly. But yes.
I have two parts from this chapter. One, when the whole family appears in the fireplace that's boarded up, and Ron's like, "What are we doing here? Has something gone wrong?" And Fred goes, "Oh no, Ron, this is exactly where we wanted to end up." And George is like, "Yeah, we're having the time of our lives here," and they're all just squished. Which, trying to imagine their whole family fitting in that fireplace and in the chimney is just really, really funny. But then also,
Arthur just blows up everything.
My other favorite part is when they're leaving and Harry's like, "Well, bye then," and then they didn't respond at all. And then Arthur
that was such
goes,
a good moment. Yeah,
Harry said goodbye to you. Didn't you hear him? And then Harry's like, "Honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter." And he was like, "You aren't going to see your nephew till next summer. Surely you're going to say goodbye." And then was just kind of goading them into a response. Just like, this is the least that Harry deserves from you all. Out of everything, he at least deserves a goodbye.
And I don't know if it's, I'm not trying to be, I guess, political or something, but it'd be hard to write these today because of how terrible the Dursleys are to Harry. Like, I don't know how it would have been received because they're just downright horrible. Not that I'm complaining about it now, but it's just like, especially in the first 3 books, it was even more apparent. But in this one, it's like, man, like, that's like Child Protective Services stuff right here.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's one thing to do it when people aren't around, but like even when people are around, they they just don't like him.
He's not even human to
Yeah.
them.
It's rough.
But yes,
again,
I love Arthur.
We have to love Arthur for this moment.
He's a favorite in the movies, but he's a favorite in the books too, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I do love that. I hope he has the little glasses. He always has glasses in the book. I hope he has the glasses. Which is ironic because what's his face that plays Arthur Weasley went on to do the detective show where he's a monk, Father Brown, and he has those cute little glasses. Like he was wearing them. He doesn't have a problem with wearing them. I digress.
I agree with you, Spencer. I just don't want to see anybody recast. Because in my mind, Arthur Weasley is this actor. This actor is Arthur Weasley. Yeah. And so when I'm imagining this scene playing out, this is who I'm imagining in this scene. And I think he would have done a great job if we had gotten it in the movies.
And Dan Radcliffe with shorter hair.
Yeah.
I have to like overlay the movie Goblet of Fire because I can't. It's not accurate hair. The best hair Daniel Radcliffe had for Harry Potter was Prisoner of Azkaban. They really figured it out, and then I guess it was probably too much work, and they never went back to it.
I didn't hate the Goblet of Fire. It was real, or not Goblet of Fire. Order of the Phoenix. It was a little bit too neat.
It's too neat ways. And too short.
Yeah, but I will agree. I think Prisoner of Azkaban was their best go.
Yeah, I think I would say my favorite look of him, even if it wasn't like book faithful, was Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say Deathly Hallows, man.
His hair looked, that was Daniel Radcliffe's look.
That was just Daniel Radcliffe peeking.
I did not like his hair in that movie either, or either of those movies.
I'm sorry.
There's the port key.
But
it was not as bad as this movie. It was not as bad as this.
And Half-Blood Prince was just like a mild
it was a mild
improvement from Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because they didn't shoot them back to back, but it was pretty close to being back to back. So
yeah. Anyways,
anything else? I'm a big fan of physical comedy, so it'll be fun to hopefully see this scene play out, and we'll actually get to see the tongue.
We're gonna see if Dudley.
I want a practical effect though. I want any of that CGI stuff. I want the actor playing Dudley having to lug around this big gigantic thing. Anyway,
that's really
funny. Chapter 5. Weasley's Wizard Wheezes.
Man, so much stuff in this one too.
Two really cool cameos for the HBO Max series, and everyone hates Percy now, including the three of us. Not that I liked Percy much before.
No.
But man, is he annoying now.
Yeah, he sucks. It's awful.
I think, it's like, it's amazing that all those Weasleys are fun, and then he's just the worst.
How did he end up being the way that he was? It's like that Michael Scott quote. I hate what you choose to be. I try to make things fun, and you just make things not that way. Like, that's like Percy in a nutshell.
Maybe we'll need to make a meme for the Instagram. Where it's like it's Michael, it's us, and then Percy walks in and it's Toby. It's like, hey Percy, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Yeah, I mean, well, I've been watching Modern Family recently. Have you guys seen it?
I know of it. I don't watch it though.
It's very good.
No.
One of the daughters of the Dumfies, I guess, is Alex, and she's like a total nerd. Like, she is nicer than Percy, a more fun character than Percy now, but she is just vastly different from both of her parents. Like, they don't know where she came from, type thing. And so this is what Percy reminds me of right now. And I like that his job is getting obsessed over the little things, and there are people in real life that have jobs like that too. So it's just fun. Mrs. Weasley yelling at people. We're great to hear it. Great to see it. It's very good.
Yeah.
And then just lots of foreshadowing. Again, like I said earlier, Bagman and Crouch are two really, really key and new characters that are sort of underlying bringing Voldemort back. And so this is just foreshadowing for those two characters as we meet them in the following chapters, which, yes, I know Bagman and Crouch is also a chapter title of a later chapter. And then just one more time, in case we needed it one more time, page 63 is another paragraph explaining a bunch of plot details from previous books.
It's just one paragraph.
It's just one paragraph this time. Not
Harry
as bad.
had been on the Gryffindor house Quidditch team ever since his first year at Hogwarts. See, no, that was me and page 62 when he says, "You know the one I'm talking about, Father, the top secret one." Goodness gracious. So stupid. So dumb.
And I like that Percy's kind of like throwing stuff at Arthur, like, he's so cool, look at me, Dad. And the dad's just like, or like, oh, pompous Percy, and Ludo's the worst, blah blah blah. And the dad's just not really listening, going, I like Ludo. He's fun.
Yeah,
losing Bertha Jorkins is
it's a terrible
mistake.
Yeah.
Massive mistake.
I think it's interesting, even with Mrs. Weasley going back and forth. Like, even though like Percy is the measuring stick for all of them, like just hearing how even she, talks with Bill.
Percy's not the measuring stick. It's Bill and Charlie.
Well, yeah, I guess I just meant like at Hogwarts achievements. I guess I should say. I guess not life achievements. Or even character achievements. But I think like Bill's like, I like the little moments that we get to have with him. It's really, really good. Like how he's patient with Molly when obviously she wants him to cut his hair or, take out the earring.
I do wish we had gotten more Charlie.
We got no Charlie.
Yeah. But I think that's also part of like Hogwarts mysteries. I just wanted a little bit more Charlie Weasley. But, yep.
And then Domhnall Gleeson's perfect, but we didn't get him until
the
very, very end.
Yeah, which is a mistake.
He was still magnificent, but he's scene
great.
Stealer.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorite actors working.
For sure.
Period.
Oh yeah.
And we're never going to get that back.
He's got such a good range of characters.
Yeah, it's true.
Wasted opportunity. Wasted.
Shout out to About Time. It's an adult movie. Don't watch it.
It's good though.
Don't let your kids watch it, but it is amazing. I don't have any other notes about this. Just a bunch of foreshadowing. Seems like the way they say it, almost everyone sucks at Quidditch except for the Ireland and Bulgaria this year.
Yeah.
England scored 10 points. That's one goal, right?
Yeah,
it's like one goal.
One goal.
Yep.
That's kind of like the England football team. Got him.
Oof.
Ouch.
Yikes.
It's okay.
They're kind of like the Mexico team. Goodness gracious. You see that? See the ending of that game?
Goodness. I watched the highlights. It was brutal. It
was
like old hockey.
Awful.
Ouch.
Oh yeah.
So many. Abby, I don't know if you knew. Do you know about this game?
I have not heard anything about this.
So I apologize. 4 red cards. 2 from each team. So they're playing with 9 players by the end of the game.
Oh no.
And then like 8 yellow cards.
Yeah.
What happened?
It was it
every
ugly.
single thing. It honestly, USA was really competitive, but Mexico got really butthurt.
Do I need to go watch a highlight reel?
They got embarrassed and we
beat them 3-0.
They were mad that the US beat them, even though they let them beat them. Like it was a pitiful performance. It was
sad.
Awful. And then the crowd didn't make it any better either.
Pulisic came to play. He came to cook. Man, that dude was on fire. He never plays that good for his own team.
Nope.
But for the US, man, he's magnificent.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the fans didn't make it any better. They were part of the problem. They were the problem. Yeah.
There's some famous images going around. There's a fight where there was a ripped jersey. They ripped Weston McKennie's jersey in half. That was that game.
Oh.
And that honestly might not have been the worst thing. Anyway, back to Goblet of Fire.
Cool.
Chapter 6, The Port Key. And the AKA title I gave is This is where the movie picks up. No biggie. Just skipped 5 chapters.
5 good chapters.
5 good chapters.
Yeah.
They also, I don't think maybe they revealed what apparating is before this. I think they did because that's what Mr. Weasley does after he leaves the Dursleys.
Yeah.
I also love that it's like taking a driving test almost. Like you have to pass the test in order to apparate.
When was
it's much more violent than a driver's test.
Yeah, that's what fair. Book was it where it was like driver's ed at Hogwarts. Yeah. So it was, that was always a fun time. I love reading that section because it just makes me feel like that. That's definitely like a souped up driver's test.
Makes me cringe. Like they say about the pair I'm talking about went and splinched themselves, and everyone around the table except Harry winced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out on the Instagram page a long time ago. They were talking. Some TikTokers were talking about how apparition breaks the wizarding world. It's like we've clearly established that lots of people can't apparate or apparate well. Like it is not an easy. It's not like driving.
No.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as
they don't
common
just
as
hand
driving.
it out to people like I feel like
well
we do here.
Hand. They can't just hand out apparition to people or people will lose a hand.
Right.
So and you can't do it over long distances, super long distances. Like England's a great place to live for a wizard because you could pretty much you could probably apparate almost anywhere in England.
Yeah.
Or maybe Ireland, but like they seem to not really want you to go over water at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also think that one of the interesting parts about this is just even hearing about how they're able to host this kind of event without Muggle noticing anything.
Right. It's like a huge thing.
It's like it's a huge deal,
and this reveals how big the wizarding world is. 100,000 wizards showing up at the World Cup final. I didn't think there were that many wizards.
Yeah.
That's most of the wizarding world, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. I do think, man, we get to him. Is there anything else needs to be said before I totally roast Amos right here?
Nope, you go.
No.
All right, this
Amos
guy
is a stinker.
Yeah, he's a piece of crap. Like I get it. You're proud of your son, but you're acting as if Harry has been lucky like his entire life or whatever. Like he's worth nothing. It's just so stupid. Like
it kind of made him more in character in The Cursed Child.
I agree because I think
he made a perfect character to bring back.
Yeah, because I think in the Goblet of Fire movie, I didn't hate Amos at all. Like he wasn't a jerk. Like he was like the interaction between him and Harry when they first meet is actually really good.
Yeah.
But
very
in
wholesome.
This, it's awful. Like I said to him, that'll be something to tell your grandchildren that you beat Harry Potter. And he's like, well, he fell off his broom. Like I told you, it was an accident. Yes, but you didn't fall off, did you? Always Modestar said, but the best man won. I'm sure Harry'd say the same, wouldn't you? Even though who won?
It's like who
won?
It's like a good Lucius Malfoy scenario.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah. Oh man.
Well, Lucius is harder on Draco, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just This
Which
just really made me upset.
it also speaks to how great Cedric is. I gotta be a Hufflepuff and just give him a little more shout out. He's very great. Robert Pattinson, kind of great. I don't know.
I liked him.
Good.
Yeah,
he was really good. He was actually really good. I love that. I was watching an interview right when he did the Batman. He was talking about all the movies he did. When he talked about Harry Potter, he was like, I don't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of running around and going crazy. And like, he really hadn't been in a movie before. And so like all that being considered, he did pretty well, I think. Much better than Crumb.
Yeah.
Floor was good.
Floor was good.
Better than the book. And better than the book, in my opinion.
Better than the book?
Yeah. Fleur Delacour in the book is not very interesting to me. The movie one just felt more human. I kind of actually like, and this will certainly be a topic next week, Abby. David's going out of town, but I don't like the Vila. At all. I'm really glad they were written out.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Anyway, portkeys are great. This is the first time we've had one, I think.
Yeah, love the description of it. That was really cool.
But that wraps us up.
Yeah, man.
It's a great first 6 chapters.
Yeah.
Leaves
us off in a great place.
It's taking us forever to get somewhere in this one. This is like how you immediately notice, oh, this is gonna be a much longer book, because I think in the other ones, I think in the last 2 we were like at Hogwarts by chapter 6.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I do think that. Here's what I'll say about the Goblet of Fire that I don't know if I've said about maybe Prisoner of Azkaban. I'll be honest. These were like the 6 easiest chapters to just read through, like just to go off of, because like things happen.
I'm already past it, if I'm being honest. I'm somewhere between the next group.
Yeah, things happen, but not enough to where you're satisfied and able to put it down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, keep going.
Like this book it just continues to reel you in, because you don't know exactly where the story is going to take you next, but you want to find out. So I don't know.
Any final thoughts today, Abby?
No, I do think when thinking about reading this one, I like picked up the book and I was like, oh, this book is so long. We're going to get into the long books. That's going to take a while. But honestly, I forgot quite a bit of like these early chapters, and I had fun reading them. And obviously we'll talk way more about the book as we go. But
yeah, I'm a happy camper right now.
Yeah.
I will not be a happy camper in the next book, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think Order of the Phoenix has become my new Chamber of Secrets. It's just frustrating.
We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see.
Isn't Order of the Phoenix someone's favorite book? I can't remember whose it was. Yeah. So maybe we need to have Hudson on when we cover that one.
See, 4, 5, and 6 are the books that I think I've read the least. Because by the time I get to them, it's such a big task.
Yes.
But I've gone back and reread Deathly Hallows for like different reasons. But those are the 3 that it's been a while since I've read them. So
yeah.
So
I don't remember much the last of 5 or 6. The last time I read through Order of the Phoenix, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I thought it was okay. It was all right. There was moments in it to where I got tired and fatigued, but it ended.
I usually have to take an Order of the Phoenix intermission. It's the only book I ever do that with. I usually have to put it down for about a week or so. Well, Half-Blood Prince is shorter, thank God. But
it's shorter, but
really
man,
good.
It's hard to put down, dude.
You can't put down Half-Blood Prince. I usually take like 2 days with Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for me to not do that this time. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, listeners, or watching on YouTube. If if you're watching this whole video, kudos to you, man. Maybe you're doing dishes or something. I hope you've enjoyed this episode from the blast from the past. Is that how you do dishes, David?
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to give them something, as a reward.
Tune in next week. Abby and I, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baby, not that we're hoping the baby will come. It's a blessing whenever the baby comes.
Yeah.
But the plan, we're just winging it right now.
We're just
winging it.
Yep.
The plan is for Abby.
We hope the baby doesn't come but if it does, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes. The plan is for Abby and I to pick up Goblet of Fire again for you next week. And if it's me and David, you'll know what happened.
Or, oh yeah, you and David, but at a later time. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, yep. Correct. So
later time for us, but not for the listeners. My brain's running.
I know, my brain hurts. Happy August, listeners. We'll see you next week. Until next time, mischief has been managed.